Ambulance 55, squad 46, 10 to 0 to 10 hot drive, near the keep map 574, Alpha, 10.
Sunnyside, Russell for 288. And Reed. Yep. You got a key?
Time to hit the road. This is Houston's mobile stroke unit. They're racing to get to a patient, but they won't know if they're too late until they arrive. To understand the power of this fix, consider the case of Gabriella Bowden. She remembers a day like any other, last November, teaching biology at the University of Houston downtown.
I was writing an announcement on the board, just like this, and I felt dizzy, and I felt that I was about to fall. So I went back to my desk to steady myself because I felt very, very unstable at that point. And then all the students were looking at me like, we're ready to go, ready to start. And I couldn't speak. My words would not come out properly.
Had anything like that ever happened to you before?
No. I did not realize that I was having a stroke until they took me downstairs and I saw the ambulance with the UT mobile stroke unit painted on the side. And I thought to myself, okay, I must be having a stroke.
So this is the MSU?
Yep, here's our mobile stroke unit. It doesn't all look that fancy. It's basically a standard 12-foot Houston Fire Department ambulance.
Right, so it looks like an ambulance.
Yeah, it's pretty cramped.
They squeeze a lot back here. Powerful medication that can reverse a stroke, a specialized team with expertise most paramedics don't have.
You also have this.
We have this, which is a CT scanner. And that's what really sets this apart in terms of equipment.
The CT scan allows Dr. Grotta to see in the field either a hemorrhagic stroke, like this, bleeding in the brain, or the far more common kind, ischemic, which is a blood clot. Note, the two kinds of stroke are basically opposites, too much blood flow or not enough. So you'd better be sure which kind of stroke you're treating and then do it fast.
Stroke is probably more time sensitive in terms of treatment than any other condition, in the sense that the sooner we treat the patient, the better the outcome.
How long has it typically taken to get a patient who's showing symptoms of a stroke to getting them the proper treatment?
The paramedics have to arrive on the scene, they have to recognize it's a stroke, then they have to take the patient to the hospital, and they have to take the patient to the right hospital. They may not get to a stroke center, they may go to a hospital that's not equipped to take care of them. And then, even if they get to the right hospital, they have to have brain imaging and an evaluation in the emergency room by the stroke team. And the average time in the United States, from the time the patient arrives at the door to the time they get treated, is an hour. When we arrive on the scene, it takes us about 15 to 20 minutes to get the patient treated.
Think about that. Shave 45 minutes off your response time, maybe you save 100 million brain cells.
So this is where it happened?
Yes, the MSU was parked right here, and they wheeled me into this ambulance, and this is where I was treated.
Bowden is one of 400 Houstonians who've received treatment from the MSU in the 4 years that it's been on city streets. And this might be the call for patient number 401. A regular ambulance team has already responded, but they need the MSU's expertise. The fastest way to link up is to meet halfway at a gas station.
What's your name, ma'am? What's your name?
Take some deep breaths.
Take a deep breath, ma'am. Look over here to the left. Look over at me.
There you go, Dolores. Big deep breaths. Very good.
Okay. Move your right arm. Lift your right arm up. Lift this arm up.
You have that access, right?
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. So where would you normally take her? Northwest Memorial?
Well, we're going to go.
She's had a previous stroke, and so right now she's having a seizure. So I can't tell you she's not having a new stroke, but with the new seizure, it's impossible to tell what's a stroke and what's a seizure. So the best thing is to get her to the emergency room, let them straighten it out.
On this call, Dr. Grotta has to turn his team back. You can't treat a stroke if you're unsure the patient's actually having one. And these false alarms cost money. the MSU itself isn't cheap either.
Why couldn't you just take all of this stuff and pack it into every ambulance across the country?
Well, you could, but this costs $600,000. The telemedicine equipment is, $30,000 or $40,000, and you have to pay the neurologist or the nurse and the added staffing. So we have to do this trial, show how much better patients do, what are the impact on their quality of life and on their healthcare utilization and the amount of disability. Take that to Medicare and say, see, this is what it costs. This is how much better patients do, and you should or should not reimburse at a higher rate.
What does your gut tell you? Is it worth the money?
Yeah. My gut instinct is yes.
For Professor Bowden, this fix is a no-brainer. She was back to work in a week.
I honestly believe that I am talking to you today and I can walk and resume my normal activities because of the treatment that I received in here, in the parking lot with the MSU.
So Adrian, the challenge for Dr. Grotta now is quantifying the benefit, to be able to say in numbers, here's how much shorter recovery times are and here's how much money we could save long term.
I mean, the theory of it seems so smart, but, and I know you based your story in Houston, but presumably it's not the only city trying it.
Yeah, so interestingly, since Houston started all of this, about a dozen hospitals in the U.S. have copied the idea, and Edmonton, too, has launched a similar program with one key difference, though. They use their mobile stroke unit to go outside city limits, to reach rural communities. And University of Alberta Hospital, they see something like 500 stroke patients a year who live up to 2 hours away. So a lot of promise in being able to get to those folks sooner.